Welcome back, my friends, to Twisted Stitches. My name is Tammie. How is everybody doing? Now, let's see if I remember how to do this. I know it's been like forever, guys. I know. So today is January 29th. It's Saturday. It's Saturday night and, well, Saturday day. And it is cold here in Florida. And for Florida, like, it is cold, guys. Like, I think it's supposed to make it to like a high of like 45. And with the wind and everything, it's feeling like 30, 32. I mean, brr. So, with that being said, if you hear noise today, because sometimes when I'm doing my regular podcasts, everybody will kind of go out for me and they'll let me be, so it's a little bit more peaceful and quiet in here. So if you hear, I got two of my grandbabies here, with my son's youngest and the next one up, Bella and Ava. Tom is here. He's in the bedroom, kind of like right here, and he's playing his Xbox or whatever, watching TV and stuff like that. And my son is here. I can't expect people to be gone. It's too cold. Now, for all y'all who are in the Northeast area and anywhere you're in the very cold, the Arctic freezing, the nor'easter with 60 to 80 mile an hour winds. Oh my gosh. I am hoping everything is okay with you guys. My prayers are definitely with you guys. Stay safe and stay warm, guys, okay? Because I am thinking about you. I'm keeping you in my positive thoughts, okay? So if you are from an area where you're just everything, with the cold and the wind and the blizzards and everything that's going on, please in the comments let me know that you're okay, or message me. You can message me like through Facebook if we're on Facebook friends, or email me. My email is in the description box. You can email me. Just let me know everything's doing okay or whatever. Just keep us updated, because I do think about all of you guys, especially when the bad weather is coming like this. I know you guys always think of me when there's hurricanes coming this way in the summertime, so believe me, my thoughts and prayers are with you guys too. So, okay, a super late Happy New Year. I hope everybody's New Year is coming along a little bit. Everything's going pretty okay, besides the weather situation and stuff like that. Hopefully your New Year is doing okay. Thank you guys for your thoughts and prayers and positive thoughts and healing thoughts. When, I told you last week I couldn't podcast because I had gotten from my grandbabies what I like to call
the kindergarten cred.
Because, like, they're done, they go back to school, especially like after a long holiday, Christmas break, and then they catch everything. I don't know if you could still hear it. Teeny tiny bit. I pretty much am fully back to normal. Well, when I'm in the recording studio, aka my car, and singing, my voice kind of goes hoarse and a little raspy, and I kind of lose it a little bit here and there, but hey, I'm not a professional singer, so I'm not worried about that. I think you guys can handle the weird little thing going on right now. Let's see. Okay, so a little story time for you guys. So we haven't really spoken, since right after Christmas time and things like that, the last podcast I did. So New Year's Eve. Now, I haven't gone out very much. New Year's Eve, we decided to go see a band that was, I don't remember the name of the band, but they are an AC/DC tribute band. They look a lot like AC/DC. They sound a lot like AC/DC. And it was for a New Year's party at the place where we go to a couple of times a month to listen to bands on a Thursday night. I think you guys kind of know, I've talked to you about it before in the past. So anyway, we decided for New Year's Eve, we're going to go down there. We're going to listen to the band and enjoy ourselves, relax, sit back. So anyway, the place was like kind of packed. So the only place for Tom and I to sit was at like one of those high tables with the higher chairs. And I'm going to tell you something. I hate those chairs. I don't like sitting in bar stool chairs, whatever, because I'm very uncomfortable with it. Number one, I'm not a little girl, I'm a big girl. Number two, you know, I have my disabilities and I have difficulty and stuff like that. Anyhow, so we were sitting on this chair, bar stool type chair, and I put my foot, my left foot, like on the railing of the chair next to me to try to give myself like a little bit of balance. I think y'all know what I'm talking about, right? So I was about a half hour into it. I was like, oh, I got to get up and stretch. I'm starting to cramp up because you try to like lean this way, get yourself comfortable, try to lean this way, whatever. So I stand up, and as soon as I stand up, pain, like, oh my God, pain. And I was like, oh, I got like a Charlie horse in my foot. I thought I had a Charlie horse in my foot. So, and it's in the, like, say this is your foot, here's the arch, and here's the outer arch. It's all in here, right up in here, and a little bit like right here. So I'm like, all right, walk it off, whatever. So, you know, go walk around, whatever. I had a pair of boots that had like a heel, about a half-inch heel, a thick, chunky half-inch heel. So because I know myself, I had brought a pair of Crocs with me just in case I got uncomfortable. So I was like, you know what? I told Thomas, I'm going to go out to the car and I'm going to take these boots off and I'm going to stick the Crocs on because my foot is cramped. I don't know if it's, you know, I got a Charlie horse, whatever. Yeah. Okay. So now, mind you, this is only a half an hour into sitting in one of these chairs. 30 minutes, maybe 40. Okay. But still, it wasn't even an hour. It wasn't even 45 minutes. I know that. Anyway. Digressing. Sorry, I haven't done this in a while, so bear with me. It's story time, and I haven't done this in a while. So, go out to the car, get change out my boots for these Crocs, come back in, tried like walking it off. It kind of like mellowed out a little bit. Took some ibuprofen, whatever. Sat down, tried to get comfortable again. Throughout the night, I kept getting up. I didn't sit in one position for very, very long. I never do anyway, but I made it a point not to do whatever. So anyway, the next morning I wake up and I could like not put my foot down. I could not walk. Pain. Oh my God, pain. So at this point I was like, what did I do to my foot? This is just crazy. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe in a day or two, I'm going to start seeing some kind of bruising, because the only thing I could think of was when I had my foot for that like 30 or 40 minutes time where I was kind of like putting pressure like this on the bar, that maybe it was too much pressure and I bruised it. I have no clue. Anyway, about a week goes by and I am literally hobbling around like bad. I can barely walk from one room to another. It was horrible. So finally I go to the hospital. I'm like, there's got to be something else going on. I was like, I don't know how, but it feels like maybe I broke something or something in my foot. So go to the hospital. They took an x-ray and of course, no, nothing's wrong. So they come back and said, well, you probably have plantar fasciitis. Now, I've had plantar fasciitis before, and it's usually towards the back of my heel because I had it in my right foot, and I dealt with it, and it wasn't the same. And let's just put it this way. To make the whole long story short, it took me up until about a week and a half ago to be able to walk more normally, where I don't have tons of pain every time. And I still have discomfort and I'm still having problems. And to top it off, last night we decided to go see friends of ours that are in a band. And we went to a bar and grill, and all the tables and stuff were high chairs and stuff. I made it a point. First of all, I wore my comfortable hiking boots. Second of all, I made it a point not to put my foot and like smash it on anything. I made it a point to only sit for like 15 minutes at a time. I walked around a lot. Now, mind you, I've been walking with, my hiking boots on and stuff in the past. Today, I am in I'm in more pain than I've been in a while now. I'm like, what is it? Like my foot hangs off on the higher chair and something messes up. So anyway, I am hobbling again. Yay. But I don't know. If any of you guys had anything like this happen and you think it's definitely plantar fasciitis, let me know, because I am literally like, I'm starting to think it's more than plantar fasciitis, but I don't know. That's what they say. I may have to go see a specialist. I don't know. But that's what's been going on with me. It's just been kind of one thing after another so far. Nothing super bad, so I'm not going to complain, but little stupid things going on. But hopefully everything's going okay with you. I just wanted to update you, kind of let you know what's been going on. That's my life update for you guys. So without further ado, let's get on with the podcast. I've already wasted too much of your time, but I did want to chitter chat with you guys a little bit. So hope that's all right. If you didn't like this part, I'll put a timestamp down in the description box and tell you when I'm done with my little life story, and you can jump to that part and then get on with the show, okay? So I took notes. I have lots of notes because I have lots to talk about. Imagine that. And I wanted to make sure I didn't forget anything, and I want to make sure I didn't forget to mention people or podcasts and stuff like that. So first, a little sippy sip. You may see me drinking more in this episode, than I usually don't drink really, in front of you guys, but with this going on, I feel like I need to drink a little bit more. I've been drinking a lot of water lately, but that's good. It's good. I don't know about you guys, but one of my goals is to drop some more of this dang weight because I don't know what's going on, but I don't like it. So I'm being a little bit more cautious about what I'm eating and making sure I drink tons of water. Well, I always drink a lot of water, but I'm making sure I triple up on that stuff. Okay. Oh, plus, before we get way into it, thank you guys so much for the loving the tattoo thing, blah, blah, blah. Just a little bit of whatever. Now, I know a lot of you guys said, oh no, you wouldn't get a tattoo. You're afraid of the discomfort, pain, or whatever associated with it. Some of you said that you're scared to get it because you're scared of the pain. Just so you know, and I'm sure people who have tattoos, like I do, will agree, it's not that painful. It's not like jab, 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 jab needles. It's more like an annoying scratch. That's how I call it. It just kind of feels like an annoying kitten scratch to me. It's just like and then you kind of feel like your skin's irritated more than anything. Like you have a sunburn, and when it's done, you kind of feel more like you have a sunburn. So anyway, and if you're nervous about it and you're wanting to do it, but you're afraid of the pain, start off with, of course, a small tattoo, something that you really like, something that you really want, and then do it in a fleshy, fatty part. Don't do it on a bone or anything like that, but do it like I put the kids' names here. This doesn't hurt. Up in the arms doesn't hurt. The legs, towards the buttocks area, anywhere that there's fatty, fleshy, doesn't. I don't find it painful at all. I mean, it's just kind of, to me, it's more annoying than painful. So anyway, I digress. That's it, done. But thank you for liking the tattoo and everything. And yeah, like they always say, once you get one, usually you want more, and I am on my 6th one, and I'm already looking into more, so it'll be like that probably until the end. It'll be like that probably for a long time, because I like tattoos. If it was up to me and I had the money, or if I had a husband or whatever that does tattoos, like a really good tattoo artist or something like that, I'd probably have way more tattoos than I do now. Okay, so today I do have to talk a little bit more about knitting rather than crochet. I know originally this was, when I started this was basically all crochet, because that's what my strength was and still is crochet, and I wasn't knitting at all. I wanted to. I don't know if any of you remember from when I first started a couple of years ago, I was, really wanting to pick up and learn how to knit, right? So like a lot of people right now, for all of you who are mostly here because you like the crochet part, please bear with me for a little bit and just, try to, I hope you can kind of feel as excited as I am that I finally kind of picked up a new a new skill that is actually kind of like working out for me. Just because, you know, like right now, a lot of my makes are knitted, and I'm looking towards doing more knitted projects only because I want to get that strength, get that muscle memory, get it in there so it's no problem. Like, you know, I pick it up and it's, you know, where I don't even have to really think about it. So please bear with me and understand why there's a little bit more knitting lately than crochet. I still have plenty of crochet things that I need to do, want to do, and I have plenty of things that I will be doing, you know, coming up in the future with crochet. But I, number one, have to finish a few of the projects that I have. And number two, like I said, I just want to sharpen those skills and get it up there. So that is my disclaimer for today's podcast, because I don't think there's any crochet in it at all. Yeah. No, there's no crocheting at all. It's knitting, okay? So hopefully you hang out with me and enjoy the ride anyway. So I know I said we were going to get going before, and here it is, another 10 minutes later. Okay, so let's start today with talking about this cardigan right here. I think it's called the Balete Cardigan. This cardigan was designed by Heidi May, and her, like, what do you call it, username or whatever, is called the Velvet Acorn. She's on Ravelry, and I will leave the link to her Ravelry page where she has plenty of different kinds of patterns for sale. So a little bit of update on how Riley's sweater is going. Here, let me put this back, sorry. I use a pencil and I write like little notes on here to, you know, let me know what I'm doing. So like I'm doing the sleeves right now, and I want the sleeves, of course, to be even in the same amount of rows, yada yada. So I write down everything that I do and when I change colors and everything. So anyway, I am really moving along pretty good with this. Okay, so let me show you where I'm at. So here we go. This is how much I've gotten done. I've gotten the full body. I completed the hood, and I am literally down to the last maybe 20 more rows or so of the sleeve to do. So I really wanted it done. I really wanted this cardigan done for her, so she had it for like days like today that it was so cold. But so my knitting skills are strengthening. I feel like I'm catching on way better. I feel like I'm able to fix things a lot easier, and I'm grasping everything a lot more. Of course, like any practice, it's all it takes, right? So the last time we talked, I don't know if you remember, I had gotten to probably, here, let's see. The hood wasn't on or nothing. I was just doing the body. I had gotten about 3 inches past where you know, you connect to the arms, where you connect to the arms for the armhole thingy, you know, that dealio. You know what I'm talking about, right? Brain's not working, sorry. So anyway, I was down here, but I was showing you how I had messed up. I dropped a couple of stitches, blah, blah, blah. I counted it. The stitches were off. I had one too many stitches. So anyway, I asked if anybody knew anything. A good friend of mine, Jackie, she had stated that she probably would have just frogged or tinked back a couple of rows, and then you know, just re-knit those ones, because sometimes when you're just at that point where you're just really not sure what to do, the best thing to do is just tear out a couple of rows and start over, you know, and just do it. So anyway, as I was looking to tear back on this, and I really started studying my work, I was like, you know what? It does not look as good as I'd like it to look. Now, a lot of this doesn't. I'm going to tell you, there are mistakes in the Raglan right here. I don't know, you know, for those of you who are more proficient in knitting, and even the crocheters who've done Raglan type or top-down style, you know, shirts and cardigans and things like that, you can tell that there's a couple little boo-boos in here that I'm going to have to try to take some yarn and try to make it look a little bit better. But I wasn't going to rip back all the way and start all over again. But I did. I literally ripped back till the second row after the connection right here. I'll show you a picture just so here's a picture. That's where I ripped back to. That's where I started from. So I took out those maybe 3 or so inches that I had accomplished, and I started anew. I was like, I just want to, really get this down and make it look better. So anyway, but one of the things that I was like, how do I rip this back without just like losing the whole sweater? And I knew, like a lot of people, a lot of knitters do what's called a lifeline. They put in some scrap yarn in their project somewhere. So if something messes up, they use it a lot, like when they're doing lace work and there's a lot of like yarn overs and technical things. And if, that way, if they mess up, they can like tear back just a section and fix the certain section instead of, whatever. So I was like, what do? I don't have any lifelines in this. And I am so nervous. It's like dropping stitches, I was like, how am I going to do this? I don't have a lifeline in this, blah, blah, blah. So I Googled how to put a lifeline into your knitting, right? Basically is what I did. So one of the first ones that came up was a podcaster on YouTube, which I know a lot of you will know this name once I say it, Marley Bird. She had a thing and she showed, what to look for, how to determine what stitch is what, blah, 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 and how to put a lifeline in, basically talking about the way the stitches are a V and you pick up the right leg of every stitch, blah, blah, blah. And it was really helpful to, like for me, this knitting experience, I've gotten a lot of help with little things like how to do a slip knit, or how to do a decrease the proper way, all that stuff. YouTube has been invaluable to me, just, with all the help that's out there. So anyway, Marley Bird's instructions were like perfect. There were some others that were good too, Stacy with Very Pink Knits, Watch Barbara Knit had something, things like that. There's a lot of them out there. I went with the one with Marley Bird because it was like a longer, more detailed, and she did it a lot slower than some of the other people who help with, learning how to crochet and knit and stuff like that. And like, I was able to understand. So I put my lifeline in and I just started tearing back. I rolled up that yarn, got it all the way back to there, started out fresh. So that's another thing that I'm a little bit behind, because those 3.5 or so inches do take a little bit of time, because I know when I was doing the ribbing, I was supposed to do ribbing for like 2 inches. And when I started checking off how many rows I had done, so for the 2 inches, I had done like 15, 16 rows just to do that. So anyway, I got all this done. I got the ribbing at the bottom done. I bound that off. I attached my yarn and made the hood, and I was like, woohoo! So another thing that happened to me is I had a question. There was a part of the pattern that I just wasn't 100% sure of what was needed to be done. I went to my Ravelry page and I got to the, in my library, the cardigan, and then I clicked on it, and then there was an email link, and I was like, well, I guess this is a good way to try to find out. I looked in like the questions and answers first, and I didn't see anybody who had asked that question, so there was like no answer for me there. So I actually emailed her, and the very next morning I had an email back, and she was super sweet, super nice, and like I was like, so sorry for bothering you, and she's like, no bother at all, blah blah blah. And she answered the question, and which, lovely, just lovely. It's so awesome. The pattern creator, super there for you. So if you decide to buy one of her patterns, this pattern, and you have any kind of questions about it, she is super helpful and she gets back to you right away. So that was awesome, because I was really worried. I was like, oh my God, this is a delay because I needed it. It was in the hood part, and I didn't want to move on to anything else until I'm actually going directions step by step. I know a lot of people sometimes will just, oh, well, I can't do that right now, so I'll start on something else. I want to do this right now, step by step. So I got the hood done, and then I went on to, I haven't done this one yet, so I'll show you. So I went on to picking up the stitches that are on hold. This is on waist yarn right now. So I picked up this side. So I picked up the stitches on hold on this side, and I started working the pattern. So one of the things I had done was I went and I started with, I was like, you know what? Let me get some DPNs, because I wasn't sure if I had DPNs in the sizes that I need, because for this pattern, you need US size 7, which is 4.5 millimeter, and US size 6, which is 4 millimeter, to make this, well, for me, for gauge. That's what is recommended, and that's what I hit gauge with, is using the 4.5 and the 4 millimeter needles, like they said in the pattern. So I was at gauge when I made my swatch. Anywho, I went to my local yarn shop, and I picked up some double pointed needles. This is the smaller size for the cuff, and this is the 4.5 millimeter for, you know, the body of the sleeves and stuff like that. One of my yarn shops is called Pan Banged, and I went in there, and they were selling these little guys, these little Zing, which I have these. I'm actually using a pair of these with the 40-inch cables right now in the sleeve. But I picked this up because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to work with DPNs through the whole entire sleeve. I've worked with DPNs, like finishing a hat off, and it wasn't really, you know, they're a little fiddly, but I didn't have major problems, but it wasn't like a lot, you know. I just basically was finishing up the decreases in a hat. And I'd never done like a large, you know, socks or anything like that where, you know, you have to either use DPNs or small little needles or small little cabled type needles like these ones that, you know, a lot of people use, or I'm going to have to do the magic loop. Never done the magic loop before. I understood the concept. I understood the assignment, but I did not actually physically do it, and I was nervous about trying it. I was so scared to mess something up. But, so I started out with picking up all the stitches with these little guys, and I worked, I don't know, about 3 rounds with these, and I was just kind of tired of like fussing with moving the stitches around and around and around. And I finally went, you know what? When you do the magic loop, you work half of your stitches on one needle and half of your stitches on the other needle, and you just like flip it back and forth, you know, pull the back needle out, do the stitches, push everything back on, and then flip it and pull, you know, you keep doing that. So I was like, I think it's going to be a lot quicker for me instead of doing a couple stitches and moving everything around. I mean, it was tiny. I was like literally like this holding the stuff, and literally I was holding the cables and the tips. I'll show you. So when I was working with these, I couldn't hold them really right here. I had a hard time with it. So I literally was like holding them right here, right at the join, so to speak. And I was just like this, trying to knit. It was just, and then, you know, see how tiny that is? I was constantly shuffling the stitches around. I was like, you know what? They're not bad. And I may use them to pick up the other sleeves and start the sleeve off, because it felt like I had a little bit more control picking up the sleeves and doing that part of it with these little guys. But when it came to moving along, you know, getting these sleeves done, I was like, oh, this is no. And then I didn't want to mess with DPNs. I just knew like right off, I was like, I've got to. Plus, I needed to master a new skill with this. I needed to do it. So I picked it up and I broke them in half and put half the stitches on the one, half the stitches on the other, and watched one more video. I don't remember whose video it was. Just watched them doing the action of the magic loop, you know, like this is how you do the magic loop. And literally I was like, okay, okay, I've watched it enough. I can do this. So I started doing it, and it was like that. It just went. I was like, yes, I like this. So far, I don't have any laddering up the sides anywhere, which I didn't think I'd have too much of a problem because when I worked with the DPNs, I didn't ladder at all. So I'm just, being very careful when the back stitches end up on the cable. When I do my first stitch, I pull it a little more snug, but not snug to the point where it's just gonna like really mess up the look of the stitch. So far so good. I feel like everything's a lot smoother. I feel like I'm finally at that, I've caught it, and it's like that aha moment, you know what I'm talking about. I remember this moment when I finally clicked with the crochet really well, and it was just like, I got this, where my hands figured it out. My hands and brain finally synced up, and that's how I feel now finally about knitting, is that it's finally synced. It's there. Like, I know how to purl. I just feel like everything's just finally there. So anyway, yeah, so I'm using the magic loop, and I love the magic loop, and I am so happy that is working because socks, and we're going to do the magic loop. I have needles all ready for it. I'm going to do the magic loop. That's one of my next projects coming up soon, is socks. I want a pair of socks. Anyway, so when I got to the sleeve, the way that this is coming out, this yarn, which is Mandala Ombre. So this is the yarn I'm using, Mandala Ombre, right? And it's more of a striping than ombreing. I didn't even really look at that when I picked it up. I looked at the colors. I went, I like the colors, so I was gonna make something for myself, but I ended up making it for the baby. No big deal, which I'm kind of glad, because I don't hate it, but I don't really like the striping effect. For a 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 8-year-old kid or something, I think it's adorable. I think it looks great. I think it looks really good. But at the same time too, I didn't want to just pick up the yarn and just start knitting the sleeves and ending up with I didn't want to end up with either 2 different colored sleeves, and I didn't want to just run with whatever was coming out at the time. I wanted to kind of match the sleeves up to the body a little bit. So I figured out how many rounds and everything. I did my math with the pattern, and I figured out how many repeats, and I figured out what I wanted to do. And so my next color, which I'm going to be changing the color. So when I pick this up and I finish off this cuff, now the very next row or round is actually going to be in this darker pink color, and the rest of this cuff is basically going to be in a darker pink, is going to be the darker pink color, because I'm literally almost at the end. So I marked it off. I know what I did, so I can repeat this same pattern. I want it to look identical, I want it to look, and I think it came out cute. Like, the striping matches pretty well. It's almost like dead on with what I've got going with the rest of the cardigan here. So yeah, I really am liking the way this is turning out. And so let me show you. So every time I finish off the color or the rounds that I want on that section, that color with the sleeves, I take the yarn and I ball it up. So in here, I've got all these little balls of yarn going on, and then I am going to have more. As you see, I've got a little bit more of this cake of yarn going on right here. So this literally is my second cake of the Mandala yarn. I'll show you where I ran out of yarn and I had to join the new yarn. So right here in the hood is where I had to join the new yarn. Right here is where I finally ran out. Yeah, I did the whole entire body, the ribbing, went back and attached and picked up stitches to make the hood, and I did this is where the hood starts here, and I did all this all the way up to here before I had to change that cake of yarn and start on the new cake. So I think that's pretty dang good. Like, and let me give you a little information on this Lion brand Mandala Ombre yarn. It has 5.3 ounces, 150 grams. There's 344 yards. It's a 4-weight yarn, okay? So, and it's 100% acrylic. It's a nice soft acrylic too. It's a nice premium type feel acrylic. It's not like scratchy at all. I really like the way it feels. In the whole entire cake, I had one knot that was like a join knot. And the only thing I could say about it was I did have to cut the knot out and like restart the yarn in the project, you know, because when, first of all, the knot was pretty big. And it had like a lot of fraying on it because this is kind of loosely spun. It's not a super tight spin. It's almost like a roving style. It does have an S twist to it, but it's very loosely twisted, okay? So a couple things about the yarn. When I got to that knot, if I pulled on that knot at all, it just started sliding apart. So I was like, oh, nope, we definitely have to cut the knot out because it looked crappy anyway. And I cut out probably about 2 inches on either side because it was like kind of messed up and frayed looking, and I just wanted to get rid of that little bit. So I did do that. So that was one thing about this yarn, but I don't think that's bad at all. I honestly don't. One knot that was a little bit, and you lose maybe 4 inches of yarn. I don't have no problem with that. That's you're gonna have some knots in manufactured type yarns, and one is out of 344 yarns and 150 grams, one knot. That's nothing to me. I don't find that a problem. It's like I said, it's loosely spun, so there are times that I get some splitting, and literally, like when I go to work into a stitch, it looks like just a bunch of threads. You know what I'm talking about, right? So you just have to be careful at times, especially if you see one of your stitches aren't nice. One of your stitches don't end up looking like that. They kind of look all they look kind of all spewed out and stuff like that. So you gotta be a little bit more careful. It's got a tiny bit of fuzz factor to it. With the dry weather and the few like rough spots I have on my fingers, I have caught and like you can feel it. You know what I'm talking about? Where it kind of like you run your finger over a fabric and it feels catchy. Yeah, so I have done that, and I have actually fuzzed a couple little sections here and there of the cardigan. But all in all, I really like the yarn. So if you've never used the Lion brand Mandala Ombre and you were curious about it, I would say 8 out of 10. I would definitely use this again. And I know that there are some of these that are more, I do know that there are some colors out there that are more, one color tonal type, ombreing type, where I think when you work with it, you might see striping, but it's all, say blues, So if you're not really into like the striping effect like this one is, I do know they have some others. No, I'm not paid. It's not sponsored or anything. I'm just giving you my honest opinion about this particular. I think it is nice. I think this is going to be a lovely, lovely sweater. I think it's going to hold up pretty good. I think it should hold up pretty well in the wash. And yeah, so that is it. That is where I'm at. I literally have a few more rows of this sleeve. I have to do the other sleeve. Then I have to go around and do the button band and, do the buttonhole openings and the button band and sew on buttons and tie in all my loose ends, and it's done. So the next time that we talk, I probably won't be showing this, here in this environment. What I plan on doing is, like with the dress, I'm going to put it on Riley, and I'm going to take some video and some pictures of her wearing the cardigan. So the next time we talk, I should have that all done, and she should have her cardigan by then. And I got to try to be a good girl, and I got to try to get with the program. I know. And I got to start posting better on social media and stuff like that. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a social media lover. It's like, to me, it feels like, oh, you know, I feel like you know, so much on social media, like, oh, you got to post on Instagram. Oh, you got to post on Facebook. You got to post on Facebook group. Oh, you've got to support your friends and other people that are on Facebook. You don't want to be like that person. It's like, oh, just me, you know, you want to be like, for me anyway, I want to be like, oh, let me see what Natalie, or let me see what Karen's posted. Let me see what this. And then you feel like by the end of the day, it's like, what have I gotten done besides playing around on social media? So that's where, and I get lost in it. I do. I'll be honest with you. I start going down rabbit holes, and I start looking at people's makes, and I start commenting, and I start talking to people. And the next thing I know, it's like 4 hours later. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have gotten nothing done. Not even posted what I wanted to post on social media. So I'm horrible with it. I'm just telling you, I have it. All the links are in my description box. But if you're like, hey, this chick isn't doing anything on here, I'm so sorry. I'm really bad with it. I love doing this part. I love like the talking and you know, talking to you guys in the comment section and stuff like that. And you know, whatever, and making the friends I've made, and which, yes, thank you guys for everything. But anyway, yeah, I love this part about it. I just don't like not that I don't like it. I get too lost in it. So I'm sure I'm not the only one. Y'all, I know I'm not the only one. So digressing, the next time you see that sweater, it'll be on Riley, and she will have it. Yay! Water break. I'm starting to get hoarse again. Don't know if you can hear it. I love my grandchildren. I love my grandchildren. So, no judgment, but that's all I've done. Since the last time we've talked, that's all I've done. I have been like steadily just, when I'm working on a project, that's all I've been working on. I have not done anything else. I want this sweater done. And, you know, like I said, I'm slow at it, so yeah. But I do believe in the next few days, it's going to be done. I'm so excited. So anyway, I forgot to show you something. This, oh my gosh, you guys, this I got from my daughter. I forgot to show you guys the last podcast I did, and I don't know, it was so cute. So you see this little cute thing? Yeah, I have to make this for Riley, by the way, because she's like, Grandma, can you do this? Little funny backstory to this. So my daughter and my son-in-law, Brandon, was like, oh yeah, we've got something for you. And they give this to me, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. And they go, do you think you can do it? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I can do this, you know? And they're like, well, if you open it up, the instructions are in German. And I was like, I said, yeah, well, I mean, crochet is kind of universal. Even if I'm not sure, I could probably pick up enough clues with the instructions and what they're wanting, especially because with amigurumi, we all know it's mostly like, you know, single crochets and things like that. So I'm like, I'm sure I could figure it out. And so as I'm looking at the directions, I do find English directions. Now, I don't think I'm going to give anything away, but look at the teeny tininess I got. I'm ready to go make copies of this and then blow it up so I can read it easier. But anyway, yeah, so I go, no, there's English directions in here. I said, it's definitely no problem now. And they're like, oh, good. We bought this because we wanted to do this and do this for a project. I went, so I said, does Brandon know how to crochet? And he goes, no. And I said to my daughter, I said, so when did you learn how to crochet? And she goes, oh, I don't, but I know I could just like pick it up and do it. Like, okay, yeah. I said, no, I said, I don't doubt that you couldn't figure it out. I think you could figure it out. I said, but like with anything that has some skill and stuff to it, I said, you've got to learn how to hold your yarn. You have to learn how to hold your hook. You have to get the feel of what you need to do. You know, your hand and your mind have to coordinate with this. I said, you just can't be like, pick it up and start half-ass wrapping things and just whatever. I'm like, you know what, guys, love you guys, but no, I don't believe you could have just brought this home, read the directions, and then did it. I would have been super, if they could, wow, you know, right? So anyway, so I do have to do this. It comes with this cute little hook. It actually is an aluminum hook, so it's probably, looks like kind of like a boy hook, you know. It's just a little chintzy hook, but, and I have that size anyway, but it is cute. It's got these little teeny tiny bonbon yarns. This one's bigger because obviously the body of this unicorn is white, so you're gonna need more. And it's sparkly. I don't know if you could see it, but it's sparkly. Anyway, these just, they're so tiny. But the hook is kind of tiny too. This one's a sparkly one. Let's see. It comes with, this is the stuffing. Now it's vacuum sealed, but I don't know if that's going to be enough stuffing. I may have to, you know, use some of my stuffing. And then this little guy here, this is like the rainbow for the unicorn's mane. Then it has, sugar. I dropped that one little back piece to this. I'll find it. It has these little safety eyes for it too. It comes with the safety eyes. So this was a cute little thing, and she gave it to me. They bought it at Home Goods. I've never been in that store. I know I've seen like little other YouTubers and other TikTokers and stuff being like, oh, look at what I got at Home Goods. And we have a Home Goods, obviously, by us. I never went in there. I'm going to have to go in there because now I'm curious. But they got it, and it was $7.99, so that's not too bad. It's kind of cute. I don't know if it was cheaper than that. Like she said, it wasn't real expensive, so I don't know if it was cheaper than that, but this is kind of cute. So I just wanted to share that with you. But yeah, I don't know if any of you have family that doesn't do crochet or knitting, and they're like, oh yeah, I can do that. And you're like, okay, yeah, all right, well, here's some yarn, here's a hook, here's a set of knitting needles. Go to it, buddy. I want to see you do it. Oh, anyway, the story was cute. And in the long run, I'm probably going to do this like right after I finish this cardigan. I'm probably just going to slam this out just to have something quick, fast. I think the unicorn is only like a couple inches high because the teeny tiny yarn, teeny tiny hooks. So, and then I'll let you know what I feel about this. And then if you find something like this at your Home Goods, maybe you could give it a shot if you want. So there's like some of the fun stuff that's been going on. Now, I figured today was a really good opportunity to do a couple little things. I know that in the last podcast, I was saying stuff like, I'm not sure what I want to make with, you know, the Christmas Advent from this last year. You know that my Advent from the year prior is going to be the habitation throw. We already discussed that. You know, that's already in progress. Sitting dormant right now, but in progress. It's on the needles. It's sitting there. And then y'all know that I had the Beetlejuice Halloween Advent, which is this right here. Y'all remember the unboxing for this one here? So one of the things that happened is I was like, I don't know what I'm going to make with it. I think I want to knit with it, especially because there's only, 10? Because there's only 10 minis, which is 10 20-gram minis, which is only giving me, like, say, 900-ish yards, which is kind of like 2 hanks of 100-gram, like the bigger hanks of yarn or something. That's kind of what I'm figuring it's about, you know, approximately like that. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. It's not like I have like a huge Christmas Advent amount of yarn or anything like that. So when my wonderful friend Reggie at J Hook Crochet, heard me talking about that I wasn't sure what I wanted to make with it. I didn't know. I wanted to get maybe a knitting pattern, maybe crochet, but I wasn't sure. So Reggie got a hold of me through a message, and she said to me, I'd like to gift you 2 of my patterns. And I was like, oh my God, that is so sweet. So she gave me the knit version and the crochet version. Now I'm going to show you a picture of the knit and the crochet version. So I'm going to show you the patterns, and then I'll show you which one I'm going to do. So I'm going to start with the one I'm going to do. And I'm going to make this out of the Beetlejuice Halloween Advent. So this is the first one, and that is called the Masquerade Shawl. And it is designed by Reggie at J Hook Crochet. And she's an Etsy shop, and I will link her Etsy shop down below, so you guys can go look. She has other crochet. She has other crochet, and I'm not sure about knit, but she has other crochet patterns in her Etsy shop. I made the stocking, the Whoville stocking, the last podcast that you looked at. That was one of her patterns. So she gifted me this pattern here, which is the knit version, and the crochet one. So I'll show you that. And here is the crocheted version. So this is the crocheted version of the Masquerade Shawl. Like I said, these patterns will be in her Etsy shop. She told me that at the beginning of February, she'll have these patterns in her Etsy shop. So like I said, the link to her shop will be in my description box. So these colors here are going to be this right here. And I think that's going to be so much fun. I think it's going to be perfect. So thank you, Reggie, so much. And thank you for letting me talk about it on my podcast today. I will leave the links to her YouTube channel, because she is a fiber arts YouTuber here on YouTube, and most of you probably know her. And I will also leave the link to her Facebook page, because that's where you can see these photos for yourself. I will also leave the link to her Etsy shop, okay? So that is my plans for the Beetlejuice Advent. So yay, that's what I'm going to be doing now. So I was watching an unboxing of an Advent, or Advents, because they had multiple ones, of Jana on Purl Together's podcast, or her YouTube channel. And she was unboxing some just awesome Christmas Advents, which, you know, wanted it all. But she had a co-host with her. Her name is Anne, and she actually does a podcast, total podcast style, of a show called I Thought I Knew How. And I will leave the links to both of their YouTube. Anne's podcast is also broadcast via YouTube. There's no video with it. It's all audio. And she has a regular audio type podcast that you can listen to as well. It's the same one. It's just she posts to different platforms of social media, I guess. So anyway, she was co-hosting the Advent unboxing, and she had her own kind of. So Anne had her Advents that she got, and Jana had her Advents that she had. But the one thing that Anne had done was the one that she was opening, and I can't remember the name of it. It's neither here nor there. She literally was knitting that day. Every single day she used up each one of her minis and put it into her project that she was working on. Now, she is an experienced, lot faster knitter than I am. So, but I did get excited thinking to myself, well, if somebody can take and put into a project these minis and have it done daily, you know, like she literally said it didn't take her that long at all to do each one of these minis into this project. It made me really excited to think that possibly this would be a good project for me to do. And when she got done, she had it done, I don't know if it was done Christmas morning or the day before. I think it was done Christmas morning. And she put it on and she showcased this particular item. I was like, oh my God, I love the way it looks. I love this. I love it. And of course, she had everything linked to this particular to this particular project. And I immediately went and I was like, yes, ma'am. She said it was a super nice, easy, like no-brainer type knit. You didn't really have to pay a lot of attention. You could actually like, for an experience, you could like watch TV, talk, and knit at the same time. Now me, I can maybe listen to TV and definitely not talk and all that stuff while I'm doing this. I'm going to have to pay attention, of course. And this pattern is what I'm going to be using this year's Christmas Advent. So all this beautiful lusciousness right here that I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I'll show you the pattern I'm going to do. It is this one right here. It is Stephen West's Unicorn Parallelogram. Parallelograms. Unicorn parallelograms. It wasn't coming out right. So this is what it looks like when it's all like kind of extended. And then she put it on and she kind of did that number with it. And I was like, yes, I love it. Now, of course, her colors were a little bit different. Hers were more tonal in her particular advent that she had. And of course, Stephen West's are a little bit more vibrant, you know, of colors and kind of more like rainbowish and stuff. And mine are kind of like somewhere in between, but I think it's going to be perfect. So I have all my patterns that I plan on doing to finish up my advents and start working on them so we can see what all these advents are looking like, all these yarns are looking like. And like I said, that was my main goal, is to figure out what I was going to do, start working on them so I can come on here and we can start looking at the way the yarns are working up and finally do some stuff for myself this year. Yay! So habitation throw for 2020's Christmas Advent that I got from Zoe at Felicity Yarn Studios. Unicorn Parallelograms by Stephen West for 2021's Christmas Advent from Zoe at Felicity Yarn Studio. And Reggie's Masquerade Shawl with Beetlejuice Advent, or Beetlejuice Halloween Advent, that was done by Mason Creations Yarns, April at Mason Creations Yarns. So I've got a few things figured out. I'm on the choo-choo locomotion of getting things ready. Woo! Yay! So I feel accomplished. I feel like I've, you know, that's a big burden. Just knowing what I'm going to do and just having that, like, this is what I'm doing. And I don't have any doubts about it. This is what I'm doing. Yes. So I'm so happy. So speaking of watching podcasts, and this is something that I do, like, sometimes I'll just put it on my phone, prop it up over to the side and listen to podcasts, other people podcasting and some of my friends and stuff like that. And if it's, you know, something that, you know, I like, they talk about, a sweater that they made or something, you know, I'll look up at it and take a closer look and see if it's something, you know, whatever the deal is, you know. And then sometimes I have time to comment, sometimes I forget, sometimes I just watch, like, and blah, blah, blah. So, and everybody knows, y'all know, sometimes we do that kind of stuff. But anyway, so speaking of podcasters, there is a newer podcaster out there, and I don't know if it's because I was watching Advent unboxings in general that her channel came up on my algorithm because, you know, it just so happened or whatever. But her name is actually Tammie as well. And her podcast is called Cinematic Skeins. And I will leave the link to all her information in my description box so you guys can go and check her out and everything. Okay, first of all, she was a West Virginia or a Virginia girl, and now she's living in Texas, and she's new to Texas, and she's having a hard time adjusting. Her backstory basically was she used to do roller derby and some other things, but then she just recently, I guess, picked up knitting. Now, jealousy alert right here. She like picked up knitting like after me and is like blowing me out of the water when it comes to skill level with knitting. I mean, maybe she's just not afraid to jump in as much, or maybe, I don't know what the deal is. Maybe I'm just a little bit slow. But anyway, so I was watching her unboxing thing, and then she started talking about like her yarn shops, and she was showing some of her yarns. Oh, and by the way, she dyes yarns too. Now she's not in, you know, she doesn't have like her shop or anything like that, but some of the yarns that she showed that she dyed were like beyond a chef's kiss. Like, girl, what are you waiting for type thing, you know? Anyway, so I was watching, I don't remember which one it was. I don't remember which episode. I'll leave the link in my description box to the particular episode that I was watching that I found this sweater. So she starts talking about this sweater. Now, she had talked about it previously, and she was talking about the way, you know, blah, blah, blah. But this is particular one, it was like, she was done with it and she had it on. Yeah, another jealousy thing. Like, she moves like lightning speed compared to like me. She would already had this sweater done for Riley like probably like a month ago, you know. But anyway, yes, that's a little bit of jealousy in there. Yes, okay. But not bad jealousy, just, you know, like, dang, I wish I could. Anyway, so she has this sweater on, and I'm like, oh, I really like that sweater. And she was talking about it, but she didn't, like, you know, leave the link. So I asked her in the comments. I was like, hey, I know you probably left the link or talked about it in a previous episode, but I don't remember which one, blah, blah, blah type thing. Can you let me know what that sweater is? So she did, and it is called the Avena sweater. Let me show you. So now I forgot to take down the name of the designer and things like that, but I will leave the link to this particular sweater pattern in my description box as well. So, and then I'll have all that information for you so you can look. So this is the designer, and that is her sweater. Now, I was looking at some of the test knitters that did this particular pattern, and she had them pictured in her Ravelry, you know, all the pictures that they show of different types of sweaters and things like that. The same pattern, but with different people making it type thing, right? So, this is one of them. Like, look at the way that looks. Look at the way that looks. Now, I don't have a screenshot of Tammie wearing hers, but when I leave the link to her YouTube channel, please, after you're done watching me, go check her out and go look at, like, she did this gray sweater, like a darker charcoal gray sweater with this beautiful teal color in it, and it is, like, beautiful. And I want one now. I want one, and I want it in, like, I want to do, like, grays and maybe some teals and blues and maybe some purples in it too, like mixture. This is my head, what I'm wanting to do, to see how this has like some purples, hues of purples and stuff. I like this. So anyway, yeah. So I want to do this sweater. I'm actually going to buy it, and I'm actually going to find another 2 patterns, because in this particular designer, in her Ravelry, it states, like, as you scroll down and look at things, if you buy 2 patterns, you get another one free. So you dump 3 patterns in your, so you dump 3 patterns in checkout, and then one of them, probably the cheapest one, is free. So she has, you know, a decent amount, and she has some really nice sweaters. I definitely want this Avena sweater. I want to make this for myself. I know I live in Florida. This is a 4-weight sweater. I'm probably shooting myself in the foot with this because it's probably not going to get worn as much. I think I will, even at this point, turn my air conditioner down to 60 degrees so I can sit in the house and wear this sweater type deal. Yes, this is how bad I want to make this sweater. This is what, I mean, like, yes, this is what I want to do. I like the style, and it's going to push my knitting a little bit because it is, what is that called? Not Fair Isle. It's, you know, when you gotta like have floats and you're changing colors. it'll come to me after I shut off the camera and I'm done. It's going to click and I'm going to be able to tell you what it's called. But right now I can't think of the name of it. But basically you have to, like, you know, carry 2 yarns or however many yarns. I believe for this one she had more because she made it ombre, as well as, like, this is actually ombre'd. The wheat feathery design, even in hers, is ombre, so she did have, like, different colors throughout. The one that Tammie at Cinematic Skeins made was only 2 colors. She just used this teal color and this charcoal gray color. This one is, like, ombre, as you can see. I really like that style, but I don't know so much if I'm gonna, like, push myself that much to start, like, having too many colors at once. I think 2 will be good. What is that called? Dang it. Don't you hate it when you... And I don't think I wrote down what it's called. Let me double check and I'll be right back. Okay, so I can't remember what it's called. It's not Fair Isle Knitting. But it's kind of like Fair Isle Knitting. Maybe it's Fair Isle Knitting. Anyway, if y'all know what it's called, leave it in the comment section and enlighten me, please, because I definitely am not... Can't think of words today. Words.
No, can't think of words. They're not here today.
So anyway, but when I looked at my notes, the sweater is called the Avena sweater, and the designer's name is Jennifer Steingaz. So, like I said, I'll leave the link to her Ravelry page, and then you could go and check out her designs, okay? But anyway, so another little funny, like, anecdotal type thing to this whole entire thing. I have another friend, and I know I've talked about her before on this podcast. Her name is Naomi, and her podcast is called the Yarn Curator. Link to her YouTube channel will be in my description box, like I always do. So anyway, Naomi, let's talk about small worlds here. So I met Tammie through Cinematic Skeins, through an algorithm through YouTube, because she was opening Christmas Advents and I was doing Christmas Advents and watching Christmas Advents at this time. She did a sweater that I am in love with and I'm going to do and I want to do. I look on Jennifer Steingaz's people who did this sweater and all the different pictures, and this picture comes up on it. That is Naomi from the Yarn Curator, who is my friend that I've known since, like, the beginning I started, and since she started. She may have started, like, maybe 5 or so months after I started my channel. Anyway, another link to this whole thing, Naomi is the younger sister of Zoe from Felicity Yarn Studios, who did my Christmas Advents. Mind blown, right? Small world. From Virginia to Houston to Florida, Naomi's in Florida, to North Carolina where Zoe is, to wherever this Jennifer is. How are we all interlinked? I feel like we're interlinked now. So now I definitely have to make this sweater because of this. This is going to be full circle. When I make this sweater, it becomes full circle. Okay, so okay, make fun of me all you want, but yes, this is I think this is lovely, and I think yeah, like I said, it'll definitely build my skills in knitting. So yes, I know, a lot of knitting. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I will throw in some crochet, but yes. So what is the only little snafu to this whole sweater that I want to make? It's a worsted weight sweater. And if I make myself a sweater and I put this time into it, I do not want to make it with, like, acrylic yarn. Even though I like acrylic yarn, there's plenty of really lovely acrylic yarns out there. I want to make it using a nice, like, hand-dyed yarn. So what does that mean? that means I have to go and buy some yarn so I can make that sweater. But don't tell nobody. I know I'm not supposed to be buying. Shh. Don't tell on me, okay? I'm gonna have to go get the yarn, sneak it in, and hide it in here. And if anybody discovers it, be like, I've had that for a long time. Shh, don't tell. Anyway, okay, so that is some of the things I wanted to talk to you about. Some of my silliness, but this is my silly life, okay, guys? Okay, so I know this is getting really, really long, and I am so sorry. I hope you guys stick with me. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. Okay? For all of my lovely, lovely friends that are always here with me, it'll be worth it. Just give me a couple more minutes. Okay, so remember when I did the last podcast, I said to you, I have to still film for Tastics for November, and December's just came in, and I still have December's Geological Wonders, the very last yarn of the month for Geological Wonders, blah, blah, blah. I film those. I film them those days. Because a lot of times, I mean, here's a little backstory for you guys. When I do my podcast like this, a lot of times if I have some like yarn of the months, I try to not mess with them until I'm going to do my podcast. You know, because it's a lot of setup and stuff. You all know. I mean, if you ever look at somebody who does like a behind the scenes type thing, you know, there's a lot of stuff you got to do, set up, some lighting, and you want yourself, I mean, for me, I want to look at least this much presentable. I don't want to look like I just rolled out of bed. I just want to look like I Instagram rolled out of bed. Okay. So anyway, I filmed those 3 that night. I did my podcast. I filmed the other 3 openings. I sat down and put my podcast up, blah, 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 did all my editing, all that stuff. Didn't mess with those other videos because I just was tired that night by the time I was done. Because usually I get tired by the time I'm done filming. If I do like 3 or 4 different things, I'm tired. I'm like, okay, whatever, put it up, because that takes some time too, editing and then putting it up and stuff like that. So 2 days later, I decide, let me start getting some of these videos up for Tastics and stuff, because, you know, November's blah, 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 and it's already like the end of December. Let me get them up. Let me get things ready for the very beginning of January for like the December's ones, yada, yada. They disappeared. All three of my videos, I don't know what happened to them. I have no clues. They should have been in my phone. I have plenty of memory. It's nothing like that. I've done this in the past. I've done 6 videos and had them sit in my phone, had no problems. I don't know what happened. So I did the unboxings and I did them. So I already seen the yarns, but I haven't been able to show you. So I'm just going to quickly show you guys, okay? Yeah, so I'm going to show you guys, okay? You guys ready? So we will start with Tastics November Yarn of the Month. Problem is, too, the picture for the inspirational photo got lost with it. Like, I always take a screenshot of the yarn of the month for, like, if there's an inspirational photo for the yarn of the month, I take a picture, I screenshot it right away when I buy it, so I have it in my pictures. That disappeared too. I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to show you November's yarn of the month from Tastics. It is absolutely gorgeous. It did match, and I wish I could show you guys. So I went and with Tastics, you have a choice of either a progress keeper or a stitch marker, and I got the progress keeper. It's this really cute little, like, kind of feels like an acrylic-y type leaf, and it's almost like, it's translucent, gold toned. So that was the progress keeper that I got with November 2021's Yarn of the Month for Tastics. And I'm not going to open it up and do all that stuff like I usually do. I actually did that already. That's why it's going to look a little wonky. So here is the hank with all the colors. It's got some beautiful deep teal tones and these beautiful golds and browns, and oh my goodness. And I can't remember what the picture was. It was something to do with, because it's called Midnight Wheat Fields. So it was a very dark picture, but I can't remember the whole thing. But I do know that this matched really well. And if you guys know, and you've guys seen my past Dietastic yarn unboxings, you would know that, like, she's almost always spot on with her colors, with her inspirational photos and her colors. And like Michelle at Dietastic has some like fabulous, just rich, robust colors, just gorgeous. So that is November's Midnight Wheat Fields for Dietastic yarn of the month. It is gorgeous. It is really gorgeous. It has a lot of this golden tone in it, but there is this, look at those blues, gorgeous. So anyway, that was November. Let me show you December's yarn for Dietastic. So I got the Progress Keeper for December 2021's Yarn of the Month for Dietastic as well, which is the one with the clip on it. And I don't know if you can see it. This is a bronze circular little disc, and it has like a picture of like mountains kind of in the background. This is just etched in. It's like mountains in the background with kind of like the Oregon State tree logo with the pine trees, like the spruce type tree look to it. That's all I can think of. I don't know if you can see that. Is it coming up? So that was the Progress Keeper. I think it is really pretty. I like that one. And here is the Inspirational Photo for Dietastic for December 2021's Yarn of the Month. And here is her yarn. Look at that. This one is called Peppermint and Pomegranate. And I got the 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. Has 463 yards and it's 100 grams. So it's a sock weight yarn. So I'm not going to pull it apart all the way, but here it is. Look at those colors. They're fantastic. I love it. I love it. She always does such wonderful work. This is so pretty. This is so pretty. Oh, I don't know what I'll make with this. This screams maybe a shawl. Look at the little speckling in it. So, like, you can see the pomegranates in this and the peppermints and the little pieces of cookie and stuff, and you can definitely get that feel of all those colors in this one. It's definitely really pretty. I like it. I think it's a good match. It's got the grays in there and everything like that. Some of the little green, the pomegranate color, very pretty, very good. So I want to share that with you because I know we didn't get a chance. I didn't get a chance to show you. So that was for Dietastic. So I did finish out the year with Dietastic, and I'm starting out the year with Dietastic. So Geological Wonders. Did I get a chance to show you November's? I don't even remember. So I'm going to show you November's and December. I did for Geological Wonders for Backcountry Knitter. Her yarn of the month for the year was Geological Wonders, if you remember the postcards, blah, blah, blah. And I did every single one, February through December. The only one I didn't get was January's because I didn't know about it, if you remember. So, love Backcountry Knitter. I love this particular yarn of the month type thing that was like a year-long type thing. And, oh, before I get into showing you, I'm just gonna update you a little bit. So you might want to keep your eyes and ears open, because if you've liked the Geological Wonders, Serena at Backcountry Knitter is doing another yarn of the month type thing this year. And I saw this photo in her Etsy shop and I was like, ooh, And guess what? Yes, I did. I got in on the first one for January of 2022. So yes, I did get in on it. Let me just tell you a little bit about what is coming, which will be coming up. I think it got mailed out already, so I should be getting it pretty soon. So the beginning of February, I should have a yarn of the month. I should have a yarn of the month for a couple of things, for at least these two pretty soon. Anyway, this is what she had in her description of what she's doing for the yarn of the month. It says, explore planet Earth through yarn inspired by the award-winning BBC miniseries of the same name. Planet Earth was the first of its kind, a high-definition nature documentary that took 5 years to complete. Each month we will explore an episode of this series, starting with From Pole to Pole. This series will take you to the last wildernesses that will show you the planet and its wildlife like you've never seen before. And she has her available bases listed. I will leave the links to Michelle at Tastics Etsy shop and Serena at Backcountry Knitters Etsy shop. So if you want to go take a look, she has Serena's bases. She has like a single ply sock. Well, she has like a single ply 100% merino, a sock yarn, a sock set, which I think I got the sock set. I'm not sure. I don't remember. She's got a merino cashmere nylon blend. She has a merino sport weight. She has a merino worsted weight, and she has a bulky. She has worsted weight for a sweater. Anyway, let me show you the inspirational photo for November's. So here it is. This states, this is called Cano Cristals. So I think I'm saying that right. I'm not Spanish or anything. So Cano Cristals is a Colombian river that runs bright hues during certain months of the year with shades of pink, red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. The colors come from an aquatic plant commonly known as river weeds. These plants require the right amount of light, water level, and humidity to exhibit their vibrant colors. So here is the inspirational, and I'm not pulling it all apart because I already did, as you will see. Here is the hank of yarn. Look guys, can you see that? Tell me what? Oh my God, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And I think the colors are like spot on, definitely. I mean, when I pulled it apart, you could see it from here. You can tell. Just spot on. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. And I got her sock base, I think it was. Let me see. See, I even have her thing in here. Yes, sock, which is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. So here is her logo. I could not wrap this up nice and tight, so it's kind of fat and frumpy like me. And here is the logo and here's the yarn band. So anyway, so this was November's. Gorgeous. I may have to have her dye me up some yarn for her Avena sweater, huh? Or for my Avena sweater. Not her Avena sweater, my Avena sweater. What am I saying? Okay, so then we have December yarn of the month. This was the very last Geological Wonders for Backcountry Knitter. And this is the inspirational photo. Oh my goodness, isn't that gorgeous? And this is called Marble Caves in Chile. The Marble Caves, located in the center of the General Carrera Lake, features marble columns and tunnels that can only be reached by boat. The arches and caverns were carved out by waves over 6,000 years ago. Depending on the season, the caves change color due to the amount of light entering the cave and the water level of the lake. December is the best month to tour this beautiful formation. So December yarn of the month for Geological Wonders. And the best time to see that is in December. Wait, look at this beautimus. Look at how pretty that is. It is so pretty. This color with a deep, deep heather gray for the sweater body, and then this color for those wheat, I wouldn't even have to ombre it. This would do it for me. Look. Oh, now. Full circle, babies. Full circle. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes. Okay, so maybe I should see if she could dye me this color up. What do you think, guys? This with a deep, 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 like a heather deep gray, charcoal gray, with this, because it's got like that little bit of gray tones in it. But it would, I think it would work. I think it would work. What do you think, guys? Would this be like a solid enough color to just kind of make those wheat things look just a little bit like I ombre'd them and I did some kind of magical knitting? Yeah, I think. Full circle. Anyway, so this is December's. This is gorgeous too. And let me know what you think about this. Do you think what I said will work? Do you think? And do you think I can convince Serena to dye this color for me again? Oh, because look at these like greens, and look at. Yeah. What do you think, guys? Would that work? And it would look good with me. Look, I think it'll look good in my skin tone too, don't you? Could I pull it off? I know deep gray I can. I love grays. I wear a lot of gray. So, yeah. Yes. What do you think, guys? Let me know. Even if you say no, I won't be upset. If you say no way, no way, no way, just let me know. But, yes. Oh, my God. Okay. One last thing, guys. One last thing. Now, the last podcast I did say, for all of my diehard, wonderful supporters that are always with me and always, always, always are like wonderful, great, and I love you guys to death, I'm having a surprise giveaway. Now, remember I couldn't really decide what I wanted to do, blah, 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 when I talked about the little minis that I bought for a giveaway. Oops, got little hairs. From Felicity Yarn Studios, Zoe, who did my advents, my Christmas advents, you know. And I told you I wanted you guys to get an opportunity to check out her yarns. So I decided that I have 2 of these. And right now I'm going to do just the one. So there's only going to be one winner. But your chances are probably going to be pretty darn high because there's not going to be a lot of people who are going to make it to the end. There's only going to be a few of my diehards that stick with me through my long podcast, I know. But I wanted to show appreciation. And I know you guys are like wonderful and I appreciate it. So this first one is going up for grabs tonight. This is the first one. So first thing first, with rules, I will, at the bottom of the description, at the very end of the description box, put in all the rules about, you know, you're going to have to get in a hold of me, blah, blah, blah. Biggest rule, do not put anything about giveaway in the comments. Just leave a comment. I don't care what it is. Just leave a comment. Okay, guys, so I changed my mind. So the only way I'm going to be able to tell is if you made it this far, is if I have you put some kind of key phrase or thing in the comment, obviously. Still don't want you to say that it's a giveaway, no thank you for the giveaway, anything like that. But I want you to just tell me in the comment what yarn of the month was your favorite. We have the 2 Geological Wonders for November and December, and the 2 Dietastic for November and December. Which one of those 4 was your favorite colors? And kind of like tell me why. You know, what's your favorite and why was it your favorite? So thanks for playing along, and I'll see you guys next time. And that just gets you into the giveaway, okay? If you are out of the country, out of the United States, because of shipping, you all know, even something like this would cost me $20+ something to ship, maybe even more. If the winner's picked and they're not in the United States, we will come up with a plan of like, maybe I can find something with a local online yarn shop near your area that I can have sent. I can buy and have it sent to your home, or a gift card type thing for you know, something like that. So that's what I'm going to do if you are out of the United States. Okay. So please understand. I hope you can understand. Hopefully we'll get back to a more normal shipping rates again, where I can ship out something like this to everyone, anywhere, wherever they are. Another thing too, if there's any taxes or duties or anything like that, that's on you guys. Once it's out of my hands, I'm done. My part is done once I mail it off. Okay, I'm picking the winner and leaving it in the community tab on February 9th. So that's just a little over a week away. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 8, 9, 10. That's 11 days away. So 11 days from now, February 9th, I'm going to pick a winner for these. And you have until the 16th, which is 1 week away from then, to get a hold of me. And if not, I will have to pick another winner. And I will tell them, I will give them a week to get a hold of me, yada, yada. So far, I've never had a problem. I think I only had one time that somebody didn't get back with me. And that was like at the beginning of when I started my podcast. So anyway, this is what I'll be sending a winner. And I'll be picking them on February 9th. Good luck to everybody. Please do not, if I see anything about giveaway in the comments, I am going to delete your comment. Yes, I'm being that way. I am being that way. So don't put anything in there. I want this to be for all my lovely, wonderful friends, family on here that always comes on here and hangs out with me. You knew I was doing this. I told you I was going to do this. So all right, so that's it, guys. That's everything. So now I am done. I have talked my head off, and you probably have burning fire flame ears from listening. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I love you guys so much. You take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay creative. And I will be talking to you guys very, very soon. Love you bunches. Bye.